Yeah.
Hey yo, man, it's your time. And fuck poverty. Get this money, man. What the fuck you gotta do, you know what I'm saying?
I can tell you're mad at me just by how you
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Phil and Leroy the Judgmental Podcast.
What's up, everybody? This your boy Phil.
And I'm Leroy. So how you doing, Phil?
I'm chilling. Just a little tired.
Okay. Oh, what y'all having, the barbecue this Memorial Day weekend?
Yeah, we're gonna barbecue tomorrow.
Okay, good.
Nothing big though, just us.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Why you coming over? Get some ribs.
Is it vegetarian ribs?
I ain't never heard of no such thing.
Yeah, it's vegetarian ribs.
Oh, shit, all type of fake food coming out in this world.
Well, let's get to it. We gonna go to for this is like a story that they're not really talking about on the national news. Indianola, Mississippi, 11-year-old Adrian Murray was shot by police.
The little boy that called the cops, right?
After he called 911 for help.
Yeah, I don't know why this is not like a big story.
Right. Well, we'll get to it. Here's the video. Well, this is the first video where they're breaking down, what happened and everything. So here's the first report.
Tonight, an investigation is underway after an 11-year-old Mississippi boy was shot by a police officer during a domestic disturbance call last weekend. The family of Adarian Murray is calling on the officer to be fired and charged. CBS's Omar Villafranca reports community members want the police body cam footage to be released.
He's out of the hospital.
And look how he took the picture with the young man can't smile.
He got a hole in his fucking chest. You be smiling?
Yeah, but they told him not to smile or anything with this picture.
Man, he ain't gonna be smiling anyway. He just got blasted by the cops. What
Right.
you smiling for?
Yeah, okay.
He all bandaged up and shit. He's supposed to be cheesing.
Yeah, he's a child.
No.
They told
he's upset.
I guarantee you that lawyer there told him don't smile.
No, he didn't.
But
Yes, he did.
11-year-old Adarian
They're gonna milk this whatsoever. It's the mom's fault. I mean, matter of fact, this is gonna be the name of the episode. It ain't my fault, because we gonna have some stories here where the people that's culpable, they're not gonna admit to doing anything wrong. It's her fault.
Murray.
From what I get on this story, is the cops' fault. It's not the mom's fault.
Yes, it is, because you'll see it.
Still has bandages where he was shot in the chest by an Indianola, Mississippi police officer last week. His mother, Nikayla Murray, remembers the chaos and confusion while holding her bleeding son.
He started singing gospel. He started praying. We started praying. We're very religious.
Did you? Okay. So
Sure.
so did the 11-year-old start singing gospel, Phil?
No.
I think your son was going to die.
At that moment, I didn't know.
The Murray family staged a sit-in today at Indianola City Hall, demanding police release body cam footage of the incident.
That's my child, y'all. I held him while he bled.
Murray says her son called 911 after an irate ex-boyfriend showed up to her house. When officers arrived, family attorney Carlos Moore said Indianola police banged on the door and ordered everyone inside the house out.
He went out of his room and went towards the living room. As soon as he got in the living room, he got shot by that same officer that told him to come out.
He didn't have anything in his hands or armed or...
Nothing. He had nothing.
Moore and local media have identified the man who shot Murray as Officer Greg Capers, who once received the Officer of the Year award.
So it's a black cop, ladies and gentlemen. That's why it's not news. News. It's not big news as it should be, because it wasn't a white cop. If it was a white cop, Black Lives Matter and Benjamin Crump and all of them would have been running down there. But since it's a black guy, they're not really talking about it like they should.
I don't understand it, because they still should be down there.
The Murray family says they're not going anywhere until justice is served.
And look at this little small protest. It's like, look how
It's a small town. What you expect?
Okay, but like I said, if it was a white cop, they all would have been down there.
Yeah, but if it's a small town, there's not that many black people in the town anyway, probably.
Family deserves answers, and they deserve it sooner than later. You had an 11-year-old boy come within an inch of losing his life.
We tried to reach Capers, but couldn't get in contact with him. We also reached out to the Indianola police chief, but he did not want to talk to us. The police department says they are not releasing that body cam video because it is part of an active investigation. Nora?
Omar Villafranca, thank you.
All right, now the story is the boyfriend was hanging out the window, banged on the window at 4 o'clock in the morning. The boyfriend is one of her kids' fathers. So he came in the house hooting and hollering. I guess they was arguing or whatever. And the little boy heard the commotion, and he called the cops and he called his grandmother. So the cop and the grandmother like probably came there at the same time. And that's what happened when I guess the cop was getting them all out the house, and that's when he had shot the kid. But my thing is, why I said it's her fault is because why would you allow that atmosphere going on at 4 o'clock?
Right. She probably shouldn't. How did he get in? Did she open the door and let him in?
Yes.
Oh well, shit. And I still the cop. Okay, I'll give her 10% of the blame, but the other fucking 90% still the cop. Why is you shooting an 11-year-old boy?
Oh, it ain't my fault. That's gonna be the name of the episode. It's a whole lot of people. It ain't
Not
my
with
fault.
this case. Now, when it's their fault, I'll be the first one to blame them.
It's
not in this case. The cop shot a 4-year-old, with nothing in his hand. Like, what is that about? I don't care what time it was. Why did the cop draw on him like that?
Okay, but if all this shit, if the mom didn't put him in that atmosphere, he wouldn't have had to call the police.
Right, but still.
So it's her fault.
But still, the cop shouldn't have shot an 11-year-old boy. So I don't blame the
I see
mom
your
for
point.
that.
That's the second step. That's the second step. The first step, what the fuck is the cop doing there from the jump anyway? Because the mom let all that shit go down.
Well, she shouldn't have let him in, and she shouldn't have been dealing with nobody at 4 o'clock in the morning banging in on the outside the door. She could have just called the cops without letting them in. But still, the cop had no reason, no justification for shooting that 11-year-old boy, and that's all on the cop and not the mom.
Yeah,
like I said, maybe you can get a mom 10% because she let the crazy boyfriend in, but the other 90% is all on the cop.
And they are very church oriented. You don't believe it? Yeah.
And, crying and talking crazy and not a tear rolling out her face.
Yeah. Well, you always say, oh, of course. Well, here's this is one that's on Good Morning America where the mom and a lawyer is doing the interview.
Many questions and calls for answers after 11-year-old Darian Murray was shot by an Indianola, Mississippi police officer early Saturday. Police were responding to a domestic disturbance call, at the boy's home.
Joining us now for a GMA3 exclusive interview, Darian's mother, Nikayla Murray, and the family's attorney, Carlos Moore. Thank you both for joining us. Nikayla, I want to start with you. Your son was just released from the hospital yesterday. How is he doing?
He's doing well considering the fact he's blessed to be home today to be shot on Saturday. He's in a pain, but overall, he's doing well.
Nikayla, walk us through what happened Saturday morning.
Okay, excuse me. So Saturday morning around 4 a.m., I was in the bed asleep with my daughter and my nephew. My son was in his room. I heard a knock on my window. It was my child's father, my daughter's father. I went to the door to see, open it up to see what he wanted. And I noticed he was kind of irate. And from dealing with him in the...
do you think he was going to talk nicely to you at 4 o'clock? He either was upset or he wanted some.
Why should I let him in? I still don't understand that. If he banging on the window, you could have talked to him from the window if he acting crazy. And it's 4 o'clock in the morning.
Right. He either wanted some or he had to argue about something. And 9 times out of 10, he probably was either drunk or high. It ain't my fault.
I know the irate version of him, what it could lead to.
Oh, so she knows he was irate, but she still let him in. See what I mean?
Well, that's what I said. It don't justify the cop though. The cop didn't have to shoot the 10-year-old.
It doesn't justify the cop. I'm on your side on that point. But the cop shouldn't have been there from the jump. That's my point.
Well, shit, she shouldn't have all these kids with different baby dads. You can take it further step.
Hey, look, it's Mississippi, so you know. And Mississippi is one of the poorest towns in America. The Brett Favre place where they stole that money.
I never even heard of that little town.
Where they stole that money.
So we saw
Brett Favre and your boy Ted DiBiase.
Right in the living room
Neither
for
one
a
of them is
minute.
my boy.
He was steady talking, irate. At the moment, the kids were still in their bedrooms. They were asleep at the moment, but my son was up at first. I did hear his headboard. That's how I knew he was up. So
He wasn't up, ma'am. All that hooting and hollering, that's what made him get up.
Exactly.
I have anxiety, so I throw up when I'm nervous. So at the moment I was throwing up, I went to the bathroom and I saw my son peeking from under the cover. I went and gave him his phone out my bedroom while I was getting a towel to clean up the mess I made.
Yeah, she should have never did this interview because it ain't looking good on her side.
She adding a lot of extra shit in here that ain't got nothing to do with nothing.
About the anxiety and throwing up. Okay, so the dude was irate at the door. You let him in. He's in the house irate, freaking the damn kids out. You were in the bathroom throwing up. That would freak the son out.
And I told him to call my mom. He called the police first, and then he called my mom. The police came. My mom also called the police when he called her.
Why didn't she call the cop without letting him in?
It ain't my fault.
The police came at that moment. It was a minute. They were hollering, open the door, open the door. When I opened it, his gun was up. He was telling me to come out. I went out. I got out the way. I walked towards the end of my driveway where my mom was. And I heard a shot. And I saw my son run.
Now, did this woman, again, I'm not on the cop side. Now, this woman, when she came outside and the guy had his gun drawn, there's fucking kids in the house. Did you tell the cop that, like, oh, whoa, wait a minute, man, it's children in here?
Hey,
I'm not giving the cop an excuse.
Don't we always talk about that self-preservation with them?
Right. I'm not giving the cop excuse.
She should have never came out the house with her kids, leaving her kids in there with a dude acting crazy and see the cop got a gun. When you come out with your kids.
That's true too. That's true too. Because I'll be like, whoa, you got your gun out, man. There's kids in here. Everybody in here is children.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no more interviews, ma'am.
On out towards where we were, he ran from.
And then she's like all the way at the end of the damn driveway when the kids in the house where the cop got his gun out. Mm-hmm. Come on now.
From the inside of the house all the way out to where we were, and that's when he fell bleeding, shot, and I put pressure on I put pressure on it to stop him.
Oh, by the way, she's distraught, and everything, but she had enough time to put some big fake dumb eyelashes and that weave on top. Well, I give her pass on the weave because she probably already had it. But she had woke up and say, "Whoa, we going to a protest. Let me get these eyelashes."
She's thinking about that payday. Right. That's all she's thinking about.
Stop the bleeding. It bleeding so much. I asked the cop. I thought what happened. He told me he shot my son. That he didn't know he came around a corner. There were no real explanations of what happened, and it just basically went and started from there.
Carlos, the Mississippi Bureau of...
And that's another thing, like you said. Why they ain't all together? Why is he she out the house and he in the damn corner somewhere?
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'm not making an excuse for
when a cop pulled up at the front door and he said everybody coming out the house, she should have had her kids with her and came out the house.
Right.
Like you said, she left all the kids in there. She always at the end of the driveway with her kids in the house, and this guy going in there with a gun.
Right.
Investigations is currently investigating what happened. We know the police officer has been suspended. What are you and the family hoping happens here?
We're hoping that the city of Indianola immediately terminates Officer Greg Capers. There's no justification for shooting this unarmed 11-year-old black young child in the chest. So we want Capers gone. Suspension with pay is a vacation with pay after doing something so egregious.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, and they always suspend them with pay. Like, okay, now they can kick their feet up and they still getting paid.
Exactly. I can be sitting in my house chilling and still getting paid.
Mm-hmm.
And so we want the chief of police also, Ronald Sampson, immediately terminated. We also want to get the body camera footage.
What did the chief do that needs to be that's why he needs to be terminated?
Probably withholding the body camera footage. Because he make the call on that, And they always quick to, when they in the right, that video come out real quick. When they're in the wrong, you got to fight for them to release that video.
Mm-hmm.
And we want prosecution for aggravated assault.
Carlos, is there a situation or is there a possibility that the officer may have mistaken the 11-year-old for a man? Is that even possible?
It's not possible for a reasonable trained cop to misperceive a child as a man. This child looks like a child.
With the other way around with the cop. Who was the kid? 12 playing in the playground, and he went right up and lit his ass up talking about he was a big kid.
Yeah.
He's very short in stature. It's very thin. There's no way he could have been confused for a man.
Okay, and you guys are on your way to a protest that starts after this interview. What are you asking for? What are you demanding for now?
We're demanding justice. We want justice now, not later. We want immediate termination. We want prosecution, and we want the family to get some answers. We want to see that body cam footage.
Nakayla Murray and Carlos Moore, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you.
Yeah, no more interviews for her because she didn't come off right. You in the bathroom throwing up. The young
sound right. So if the dude is irate and crazy outside, she let him in. He's still going crazy and irate. So you go in the bathroom and throw up,
right?
And get your son the phone. Hey, call 911 or whatever.
No, call your mom. Call
my
mom. Yeah. Call my
mom. The story don't sound right.
Right. And what was the mom going to do?
Exactly what she did. Call the cops. That's what I'm saying. Like, why didn't she keep that nigga outside and call the cops without letting him in?
Right. Hey, it ain't my fault. And we gonna continue on. It ain't my fault. We going to Philadelphia, PA, where video captures frantic moments when a teen steals an SUV with a child inside in Tacoma. Here's the report.
Frantic moments right there in the Philadelphia neighborhood when a man steals a car with a
man. And you ever see how they always try to act like kids are like older than they are?
They only do with our kids.
Yeah.
young child still inside.
Parents and neighbors go running.
That was a teenager walking around with a damn book bag. The kid was probably walking home from school and was like, oh shit, I got me a win right here.
To save the 1-year-old who was sitting in the back seat.
It is Tuesday night. I'm Gray Hall with Shari Williams, and the big story on Action News are those terrifying moments for a family in the city's Tacoma neighborhood.
It appears to be a crime of opportunity after the young child was left inside of this car alone. Action News reporter Bob Brooks joining us now live at the Philadelphia Police headquarters tonight. You've got the details, and Bob, this could have been much worse.
Shari and Gray, all I can say is this could have been an absolute disaster. The car stolen by teens with a toddler in it, and the mother was watching, but it turns out these suspects, these teenagers, had a last-second change of heart. This is the start of a mother's nightmare. Her car is parked in the middle of the 4100 block of Gillum Street in Tacoma. Her 14-month-old toddler was in the car, but then you see a teen walk up to the door, get in, and take off. You see her run after the car on the street, with several others following behind. We spoke with that mother tonight. She's Regina Padilla.
Dropping off my kids to visit my grandmother and taking the 2-year-old up the steps.
She says
your fault, ma'am. You left the car running with the keys. You left the keys inside in the car running. But you don't do no shit like that when you outside the car like that.
And I don't think she was on the porch. I think she was inside.
Mm-hmm.
And this is because it took her a while to get around down the steps and around that curb. That tell me she was probably indoors and not up the steps like she's saying. If she was up the steps, she'd have been right there at the steps.
Right.
She went inside, was in there bullshitting, and it's a skinny street, so cars can't even get around her. And she got the baby in there with the keys in there just chilling.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. What Philip said, ladies and gentlemen, this is a small street, and she's double parked in the street with the car running, the keys inside, and a car running with a baby inside. I don't care what neighborhood you in. You don't do no shit like that. Somebody, I don't care what neighborhood, because you could just be in there. Somebody could have been in the bushes and just walking down the street and like, oh shit, there's a car running with the keys inside.
And lucky it was a kid and not a fucking crazy person that would have took the kid and don't care if it's a kid back there.
Right.
She made eye contact with the suspect right before it happened.
I was terrified.
You made eye contact, and why you ain't start walking towards your car? Like, oh shit, what this boy doing?
Right.
terrified. I just kept screaming, my baby, in hopes that he would stop. And thank God he did.
All right, you want to go and say she was acting like she was crying with no tears?
Hey, that's why she got the glasses on. She full of shit. and I think when they do dumb shit like this, they should be charged. You know what I mean?
Right.
Something. It ain't got to be like some jail time or some type of fine or something. You left your kid in the car running in the middle of a skinny street that can't no other car get past.
Right.
Suspect had a change of heart indeed. He only got a few yards up the street before he put it in park and took off.
I ripped open the door to get to her, and my neighbor continued running after the kid. I kept on chasing after the
And why they keep saying 2 kids? When did he pick up another kid? Because as soon as he took off, they jumped out, or he jumped out.
Right. They said that in the newspaper, the Enquirer article on it also.
They
that
said
it was
it right here
another
too.
child
That's what I'm
too.
saying. They keep talking about 2 kids, unless he caught up with somebody and then he ran with him.
Or maybe like when he got out of camera range, like you said, somebody else jumped in.
I don't think nobody else jumped in the car. It was too fast.
I don't know what I was going to do, but I kept chasing him.
And this is
Lady, you ain't gonna do
the
nothing.
beautiful baby girl. She's safe and sound. And for her parents, that's really all that matters tonight.
It was a terrible scare, but you know, God is good that there was still a happy ending to it.
Well, if I'm the father, I wouldn't do no TV interview, and I'd have been on the mother from the jump. I've been on my wife from the jump. Why would you do something like that? You leave the keys with the keys in the car with the car running to be in the house somewhere. You know, if you had to do something like that, turn the car off and take the keys out. You
And
don't
like
do anything
she
like
said,
that.
she just started going up the steps. Now, how long was this video when the car was just sitting there with not her around? Because if she just went up the steps, we'd have seen her on the video. Man
Right.
came all the way from down the street, walked up there. She didn't know where to be seen. She was in the house.
Right. So I'm like, nope, I'm not doing no interviews. I'd have been on her ass from the jump because it's her fault. Like I said, it ain't my fault. We gonna blame the kid. That the kid looked like to me like he got himself a win. Like, oh shit, here's a car right here running.
All
I
right,
can't
so
be mad.
we got 10% her fault on the first one, 100% on this one.
The kid like, oh shit, I got me a win here.
Mm-hmm. Like, where don't you know where you at? You ain't too far from Kensington.
But ain't the point of the neighborhood. You don't do that anyway. Anywhere.
Yeah, but that neighborhood, like, come on, they got Zombie Town and all that type of shit.
This is okay to do something like this, to take someone else's property, whether they knew there was a child in the car or not. I hope this is a wake-up call to them.
It ain't no wake-up call for you. Right, it ain't a wake-up call for them. Hey, look, like I said, young man just started. He got himself a win.
Mm-hmm. She need a wake-up call if anybody need a wake-up call.
Okay, Shari, as for the suspects, there are 2 of them. The one that stole the car, police believe there was an accomplice on foot. They think these teens are around 18 years old. Again, they took off on foot.
And there they go.
Always and they do that. They do that to justify when they shoot them, and then they can say, "Well, hey, I thought it was a grown person." You know what I mean?
Right. How do you know? How do you know that young man was 18?
Mm-hmm.
From that video, I can't tell. He looked younger than he looked like 14, 15 to me.
Mm-hmm. I tell you, that's what they do.
What Philadelphia police guys, if anyone knows who they are, they give them a call. Tonight we're live outside Philadelphia Police Headquarters.
All right, so what we gonna do with this mom here that had the keys in the car and the car running? Nothing.
Nothing.
Reporter Bob Brooks for Action News at 10 on PHL 17. Shari.
Yeah, it ain't my fault. It's somebody else's. It ain't my fault. All right, the next report, we going to Colorado Springs, Colorado. 31-year-old Andrea Serrano was given 90 days in jail for sexually assaulting a 13-year-old whom she had a baby by. Here's one is the report and the other one is the updated version. So here's the first report. The first report has the mom of the child, the 13-year-old interviewed.
A 31-year-old woman who admits to having sex with a 13-year-old boy and then becoming pregnant with his child won't face any jail time under a plea deal with prosecutors.
11 Call for Action investigative reporter Matt Kroschel is joining us live tonight. Matt, 31-year-old Andrea Serrano was facing sexual assault charges, but accepted this new plea deal to stay out of prison.
Ain't that great?
Must be nice.
Mm-hmm. She banging her during a 13-year-old, and you know they bang more than once. What was you about to say?
No, I was just gonna say our loss is fucked up. Anytime this now, because if the roles was reversed and it was a guy banging a 13-year-old girl, his ass be buried in the jail. They be wanting him to get the fucking electric chair.
Right, and they gave her a damn plea deal.
90 days. That's it, huh? And she sat here and had sex and got pregnant by a 13-year-old. That's crazy.
Yep.
Serrano gave birth to a baby boy. She admitted to having sex with that 13-year-old. The victim's mother, who we're not going to identify in this story, tells us she is not happy with this deal offered to a woman she says ruined her son's life.
I feel like my son's robbed of his childhood. Now he's having to be a father.
Now this is, again, ladies and gentlemen, this is the first report with the plea deal. The plea deal was for her not going to jail. And I'll update it after this.
He's a victim, and he's going to have to live with that for the rest of his life.
This mother says watching her son struggle with the reality he now faces breaks her heart. What has this been like for your son?
It's caused him a lot of depression. He's shut down a lot.
Now he got a depression because he's not getting any anymore from her.
He's chilling. Ain't nothing wrong with him.
No, he's down because they ain't banging no more. A 13-year-old.
Oh yeah, well, that was his girlfriend, right?
Yes. In his head it was.
That's what I'm talking about.
Because like I say, it wasn't no just one time thing. They was banging all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Questions why this woman won't face prison time.
I feel like if she was a man and he was a little girl, it would definitely be different. They would be seeking incarceration.
What Philip said.
Because it's true, you know what I mean? And they never say that when it's this type of situation, only when they're mad when it happened to them. How about y'all all get together and protest law changes and shit?
I feel like because she's a woman, they're having compassion for her because she was pregnant. But I don't think they take into play, again, she was pregnant by a child. You know, that child was created from a sexual abuse.
Under terms of the plea deal, the
They probably
suspect
said,
signed
please
off
don't say
on.
rape on camera.
Mm-hmm.
She'll be required to register as a sex offender, and the judge could sentence her to 10 years to life of sex offender intensive supervised probation. But Serrano will avoid any jail time since the DA's office dropped the original charges to a lesser charge that does not come with mandatory jail time. What should other parents be looking for?
Don't trust anybody, honestly. I mean, you can't trust anybody now.
She was a family friend.
I bet she was. It's funny because back in the day when we were younger, it wasn't all the sexual assault stuff. It was rape. You know what I mean?
Right.
Now they say sexual assault and they don't want you to use the word rape because it's a big broad of things. You can fucking smack a girl on her butt walking past her, and that's a sexual assault.
Exactly.
So how can you bottle that up with rape? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So they doing some slick shit with the way they word it. Now you can't even say it on like social media or nothing. They'll fucking block you, or if you type it in, they'll erase that joint and everything. They don't want you to say that word on nowhere.
Right.
The victim's family says they are looking for the next steps in this case, and they'll actually ask the courts to give custody to the 13-year-old of this baby. Adam and Lindsay, what we do know is that Serrano has a hearing coming up in May where she will learn how much probation time she'll have. Currently, Serrano has full custody of the baby.
So they gave a pedophile.
I thought she said pregnant. I didn't know she had the baby.
Yeah, they gave a pedophile. Down. She's a registered pedophile now. She's a sex offender and all that stuff. They gave her a baby. Why would you trust a known pedophile with a baby?
She's probably not have to register.
No, they said it.
It don't matter because if she still got the kid, then she probably don't, because she's going to be around other kids. She's going to take that kid to the playground. She's going to take that kid to daycare and all this stuff. And you can't do that if you're a registered sex offender. So that tells me they're probably just telling us that, but she probably really not have to register.
Well, the update is they went to court. Well, they said in May when they was going back to court in May. They went to court, and the mom here that you heard in this piece had told the judge about she needs more punishment, and that's why they got the night in jail, because first she wasn't going to jail.
Right.
So they rescinded the plea deal and gave her 90 days. Here's a little 20-second update.
There's still some
about
bullshit.
The Fountain mother who had a child with a 13-year-old was sentenced today.
31-year-old Andrea Serrano is heading to jail for the next 3 months. KRDO News Channel 13.
3 months, which means she's probably only going to do like 15 days.
A month. I give her a month.
Right. I mean, what the hell is that even worth the time for the jail to do all the processing and booking? If she only going to be there for she's not going to be there for 90 days. They're going to let her out for good behavior. Because if I'm her, I'm just going to be sitting in my cell all day, and I'm only going to go out to eat and stuff.
She'll be out in like 30 days. You watch.
And Scott Harrison is live in the newsroom to explain the judge's decision this week. Scott.
Well, by pleading guilty to incest, Andrea Serrano is avoiding a conviction on the more serious charge.
That's it. Because they had one out there. Yeah, they rescinded that of no jail and gave her 90 days, which was, oh boy, it's so great. A damn pedophile who was having sex with a 13-year-old.
Hey, that's the way the laws work.
Okay.
Slap on the wrist and shit for them.
All right, now we just talked about Andrea, who was chasing down a 13-year-old boy. Now we got a teacher here that's gnawing on your daughters. We're going to San Antonio, Texas. Stephanie Woods, a 20-year-old biology teacher and coach, was arrested for allegedly improper relationship with a student. Here's the report.
Pretty sure she teaches some biology, boy.
Thank you, sir. A local woman who spent her days in the classroom is now headed for a courtroom.
The Northside School District teacher and coach is accused of having an inappropriate relationship with a student.
Katrina Weber is live downtown with more details on her arrest. What's her status when it comes to her job, Katrina?
This fool then asked, now she got she was rolling around with a student at school, and this guy gonna ask what's the status of her job.
Well, in a note that was sent home to parents yesterday, the school principal said that this now criminal suspect is on administrative leave. She's been on administrative leave since last Friday, but things are still developing, and this event.
And she's doing her report from a damn airport, I assume, because damn, or a highway, right, or a highway or some shit.
Investigation is still ongoing. For now, it looks like 28-year-old Stephanie Woods is at home. Records show that she was released on bond
at home chilling, huh?
After her arrest yesterday afternoon.
Why they gotta be on ministry? How about they fire their ass?
Well, she was only arrested for the crime. She hasn't been tried yet. Because
still.
Okay, but wonder if you fire her and all that stuff, and suppose let's just say they all made it up. Now she can sue the school for doing that.
I guess, but it's just like anything. Like you get arrested with some drugs, and then you get locked up, and then your job fire you. Same shit.
Well, the job will fire you. You said arrested. Are you sitting in jail?
Well, I'm saying you got arrested that night because they found some shit in your pocket or in your car or whatever. Your job will fire you if word got back to them. Let's say you miss it on Monday and somebody say, "Oh, he got arrested for selling drugs or something." You still ain't get found guilty.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But you'll still lose your job.
Right. Well, they can't really they can do that, but you can really go and sue if because let's just say like it wasn't your drugs and or something. They'll come out it wasn't your drugs and you got fired. Man, you lost your job for nothing.
Putting yourself in that situation. Well, look at our boy Jonathan Majors. He get fired left and right, and they ain't found him guilty.
Woods, a biology teacher and tennis and basketball coach at Warren High School, is accused of having an improper relationship with a 17-year-old girl. It says a friend of the girl first reported this to a therapist. Then San Antonio police found out about it. The affidavit.
See, I believe that she was in a trial relationship. Because why would the friend say something to her therapist about her girl banging the teacher? I believe that the teacher was talking to both of them, and
that's the one that got mad.
Yep, and she started messing around with the one she was having relationship with, and that girl got mad, like you said, and told the therapist because that don't make any. If I'm going to therapy, I'm not talking about anybody other than myself.
talking to her about your problems and shit. You
Right.
sitting there talking about a friend and what is she doing?
Right. And so, the therapist, she had to tell the cops, you can't sit on anything like that.
Davis says the teen later told police she had been involved with Woods since late last year and had even spent nights in her home.
Of course you spend nights. That's a damn relationship y'all was having.
Police say they found evidence of that, evidence to back that up in the girl's phone. And again, Woods was arrested yesterday. She is out on bond. Reporting live downtown, Katrina
They got
Weber,
enough evidence. They got the messages and all this shit. So they could have
Yeah.
locked her up and kept her, but of course she's chilling.
at 12 News.
Keep up to date.
You funny. Well, we gonna get in some sports. We got Game 6 tonight. Miami Heat versus the Boston Celtics at Miami, and Miami better pull this out tonight. It's the night, right? Yeah, it's the night.
Yeah.
They better pull this out tonight because you don't want to go on Game 7 in Boston. What's your thoughts on this game?
I like Miami before they went down, and what was they down? 3. What was they down? 2-0. They lost both home games. Then what was it? What was it? I think it was down 3-0, wasn't they?
Yes, they was up. They was up 3-0. You mean Miami?
Boston. No, Boston.
Oh, okay.
They
All
were
right.
down. Yeah. And so I always thought Miami was playing as a better team than them. They got some good players, but their players haven't been showing up. Tatum shoot a lot, and Brown, he'll drop 21 at halftime, then finish the game with 22. So the inconsistency and I don't know where their head is at. So like they said, they got the momentum now. So if they go down here and win another one, man.
Yeah, this would be disaster for Miami. Right.
That'd be one of the biggest choke jobs they're gonna be talking about this one.
Right. Now, if Miami lose this series, is Eric Spoelstra getting fired?
No, it's like Pat Riley's fucking stepson.
Yeah. Is Pat Riley still in it with that? Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
Because they said, who was that who just did an interview and he was like, yeah, I love playing in Miami because it's like we have two coaches. We got the legend Pat Riley. He's at the practices and stuff and coaching us. And then you have Spoelstra. So he's still around and really hands-on.
So Pat Riley is the real coach. And he just gave the information to Eric and he just relays it to everybody.
No. I think it started that way. But now he's trying to like groom him up. Because remember when Spoelstra came in, he was a young boy. I think he was like the fucking
equipment manager.
Equipment manager, some shit, washing towels or some shit.
Yeah.
And I think, like I said, so I think he married Pat Riley's daughter or something. So he got to look out for him because you want to make sure your daughter is.
Did he marry him? Are you saying that? Oh, okay, good.
It got to be something because what guy like that would promote this dude like that fast and give him like that position? You know what I mean? And put him in a position to win a championship.
Mm-hmm.
So it gotta their relationship is real tight. So it got to be something more to it than that.
He has 3 championships, right? Shaq and Wade, and you have the LeBron. That was 2 with LeBron, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so he has 3. He has 3 championships. Then, yeah, ain't that great? You go from a equipment manager to a 3-time NBA. That's like Hall of Fame shit right there.
Yeah,
3 times. Ain't life great? So who you have in this series?
I got Boston. I wanted Miami, and I thought Miami was the better team. But by the way they lost them games like that at home, I just was like, damn.
Mm-hmm. All right, y'all. Thank you for listening to us. You can reach the judgementals on. All right, y'all. You can reach the judgementals on Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube at pnljudgementals, Instagram at the_judgementals, or you can email us at pnljudgementals@gmail.com. All right, so I think he was just laughing at me because how I just shitted on a movie like that.
Because you funny as shit.
All right, y'all.
All right, peace out.
That's why I produce the track. No wonder where my crew is at. They'll be back. Niggas see me walking on the block and look like, who is that? Who is that? People always wanna know where my friends is at. Like we attached. I don't need no crew to produce the same effect. How lame is that? Niggas say that.